are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. May I call you Kowal?
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay, Kowal. My name is Julia. I'm the dietitian that will be speaking with you today. So tell me what brings you in this afternoon.
Well, I've been trying to lose weight for a pretty long time. Um, I've always been the chubbiest of siblings, and I was born overweight, and I feel like I've never gotten out of that cycle. I have phases where I suddenly become a lot more health conscious, and I think about mindful eating, and I think about making sure that I have the healthy cues, like my hunger cues, so that I know when I'm just eating because it's the time to eat, or if I'm actually hungry. So I kind of try to do that, but then there's times when I have too much work, or I have like a fixed routine for the day, and I just eat because I have to, or because I'm gonna go. And then I don't always have the time to have a healthy meal, so whatever I can get. And so most of the times it's not healthy. I don't know how to be consistent with my eating habits in a way that I become healthier, because I think if I focus on being healthy, then the weight loss will come along with it. But I don't know how to get to a consistent eating pattern.
Okay. So you mentioned that weight is a concern that you've had for most of your life, if not your whole life since birth, and that you have often made efforts to be mindful in the foods that you choose, and you are very conscious of that, and you want to make healthy choices, but you feel limited with your time and how often you can make more relatable choices that are in line with your weight loss goals. I understand that. It makes a lot of sense. Tell me a little bit more about your feelings towards your weight and what that means for you.
Well, on a day-to-day basis, sometimes you don't care, you're too busy with studies or with work, and I think I tend to do that a lot because I am so focused on being punctual at work, getting all my work done on time, making sure I get good grades in class. I feel like I forget to focus on myself and on my weight, and only when we have like a party or a get-together that I have to attend and I dress up, at that time I realize like I'm not the ideal weight, or I don't look that good. And obviously after that one day, then for a week or maybe like a month, if it's a good month, then I would feel bad about it and I'd be careful about what I eat. But as I get back into my routine of like school and life, I just forget to focus on myself again and on my weight, and the focus completely goes on work and education and success in that. But I want to be successful in all areas. I want to show that I feel like I need to show that I can balance everything together, and I need to focus on myself as well. But I just need to kind of keep it in my mind that everything needs to be balanced, rather than I either focus on education or either focus on my weight. It shouldn't be like that. And I keep reminding myself of that, but it doesn't work. And I forget it every now and then.
So balance is very important to you. You mentioned the need to feel like your attention is divided. You're maybe distracted a little by your obligations with school and feeling like you need to stay on top of your work schedule and your homework and assignments and things, but there will be triggers for you, maybe if you go to a party or a social event that reminds you of, your weight and maybe reasons why you need to address it. You also mentioned that you feel like you need to be more balanced and focus on yourself more. What is something that you can do or that you've done in the past that has helped you with that?
Well, an obvious weight loss definitely helps. The last time I did it, it was not through healthy means. It's probably 5 years ago. After that, I've had small spurts of weight loss, but then I gain it back. The one time it was really successful and I lost a lot of weight, I also lost a lot of hair because I was starving myself. So I did, and I wasn't even weighing myself. I was just seeing this difference in my sizes. So I went down 2 sizes. but that was because I was skipping my dinners. So I would eat lunch at like 3 o'clock, and then I wouldn't eat anything after that. Maybe like a banana or something, and then I would just go to sleep and wake up and eat breakfast. So I did lose quite a bit of weight, but I lost a lot of hair, I got weaker, and I felt that in my strength. So I don't want to lose weight again through that way. I want to lose it the healthy way, but I feel like the healthy way just doesn't last as long for me. My body builds up resistance like a month or maximum 2 months after I start leading a healthy lifestyle and working out, and then I don't have time to, like, I've heard people say that, you know, if your body gets used to an hour of exercise, increase it like 15 more minutes, or increase it from 60 minutes to 90 minutes. But I don't have time. Like, that 60 minutes was a big deal for me as it is to not study and actually go to the gym or whatever. So I don't know how to break through that resistance that my body builds up to whatever I'm doing, and then keep going with the healthy. Because if I do continue losing weight, I think I would stay motivated to continue doing the healthy things. But when my body builds up resistance and it doesn't work anymore, then I kind of start letting go. And I think I come back to square one with that.
I see. So you definitely feel like your previous weight loss method, skipping meals and having what you would call unhealthy eating habits, was a quick fix, but it was also showing consequences of hair loss, and that just sounds really challenging to have one benefit of the weight loss, but then also feeling like you were starving yourself and your body was reacting in a negative way. You also mentioned possibly wanting to increase your exercise, but the time limitation being an issue for you as well. So I can tell you see the balance between the importance of healthy eating habits and healthy exercise habits as well, and maintaining those, but you also want to see that progress faster than maybe what you think you will see. Is that what I'm getting from that?
Yeah. Sometimes I think maybe I'm expecting too much, and it's not supposed to go that fast, because I want to see at least 2 pounds drop when I'm actually doing something. But I think that might be a very high expectation on my part. Maybe if I aimed for 1, I'd be more satisfied. But the thing is, my body starts losing weight like 3 pounds a week in the first 2 weeks or so. Then it goes down to 2, and then maybe like 0.6, and then it just stops losing, even if I'm still eating healthy and I'm still going to the gym. I just don't know what to do to break through that and continue losing weight in a healthy way.
Okay, so you mentioned you start out with an adequate weight loss per week, maybe 3 pounds, but then it slowly decreases. Okay, I understand how that could be very frustrating, especially if you are hoping to see progress and not regression.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing your 24-hour recall. Is it okay if we take a moment to just talk about some of the foods that you've eaten recently?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I see here that you mentioned that you have a cup of yogurt and a 4th cup of granola for breakfast. Is this a typical breakfast for you?
It's a new thing I've started doing just because I got a box of granola, so till the time that ends, and I can kind of keep consistent with whatever groceries I bring.
Okay. And how satisfied, if you would say on a scale from 1 to 10, how satisfied you are with your choices for your breakfast, how would you rate it?
Like fullness-wise or like happy-wise, like I do like the taste.
I guess maybe with how you feel, since you feel very strongly about your goal of wanting to lose weight and maintain that. I guess, how does food relate to that for you? Do you feel satisfied with that meal in relation to your accomplishment of weight loss?
Well, it definitely helps me feel full. It makes me feel adequately full. Like I don't feel hungry after it, but I'm not like extremely full after it either. It's like sometimes I would maybe add a banana to it if I have the time or if I want to, but just like that as it is, mostly that's how it works. Because it's easy to grab and go, and sometimes I would just eat at work while I work.
Okay.
So it's just something easy.
Something easy. Okay. So let's move on to your snacks. So you have onion and chive crackers. How are those onion and chive crackers prepared? Do you make them yourself?
Oh no, those are the ones like the packaged ones that are just easy for me to pack with my lunch. I focus on making my lunch, and so the snack is usually something that's already prepackaged.
About how many crackers do you get in that package?
One of those packages has about 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And do you feel as though this is something that aligns well with what you would like to eat, or do you feel like it's sort of something that, as you were saying, is something just quick and easy to eat, but maybe not necessarily what you would want to eat?
That's true. It's something quick and easy to eat, and I mean, I like it, but I'm very open to changing that to a healthier option, because sometimes I would take carrots instead of that with hummus, if I do have hummus. But again, because I'm one person who lives by myself, my groceries go bad pretty fast, and so I have cycles in which I bring different kinds of food. So in this cycle, I had the crackers. The next time I might have carrots and hummus. So it changes pretty often.
Okay, so wanting to possibly pick a healthy, easy to prepare, but also quick alternative is something for a snack that you would consider, like carrots and hummus, as you mentioned. Is there anything else for snack choices that you like?
Other than that, I typically would just eat an apple or a banana or orange. My fruit options are usually that. Vegetables I don't like as much, so that's why I typically stick to carrots if I have to eat like raw vegetables that are easy at work.
Okay. Well, we definitely want to stick to something that you enjoy. So after your breakfast and snack, do you feel hunger, or do you feel like you're very anxious for lunch? What would you say is your perception?
It honestly varies from day to day. Maybe it's dependent on how busy I am. Some days I feel really hungry by like 11, and my breakfast is usually at like 8:30 or 9ish. So sometimes I'm hungry around 10 or 11, so I'd have my snack. And then lunch would vary between, I would say, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, depending on when I get hungry.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is, even though if I have the same breakfast every day, some days I'm hungry for lunch and some days I'm not that hungry early on. I don't know what that means or why that happens, but it's just different from day to day.
Okay. Well, I do know it might be normal to have variations in your appetite from day to day, depending upon lots of different things like your sleep, how much you've slept the day before or the night before, maybe some of the other foods that you've had previously. And so there's a lot of different things that can play a role in that. So it is important to note when you have those different feelings of hunger and how your appetite sort of fluctuates. So
that's true. The days that I sleep less, I do feel hungrier throughout the day.
Okay. Do you feel that sleep is something that has been compromised because of how busy you are?
I think many times it is compromised, but it could get worse. Like I know I can be forced to sleep 3 to 4 hours, so I think that I'm lucky to get 5 to 6 right now. But I don't function at my optimum for 5 to 6 hours. I think 7 to 8 is definitely where I start working at an optimum level and I'm healthy.
Okay. So you believe that maybe sleep might be something that you want to increase to help you feel more energy throughout your day, and that might potentially have an impact on your weight. Do you mind if I offer a suggestion as far as
Oh no, go ahead.
your sleep and your dietary patterns? Okay. Well, research does suggest that those who get adequate sleep do tend to decrease their cravings and have a more sense of satiety throughout the day as far as their meals and how it helps them to feel more energy and more satisfied with the food that they eat. So if you perceive that maybe you've been a little sleep deprived, whether it be because of just all the things that you're doing throughout the day with school and work and all the obligations that you have, then maybe considering getting that 7 to 8 hours that you mentioned could be something that could help you with your weight loss goal.
I can always try. That's something that I just have been constantly struggling with. Like when you have so much work on your head and you're barely taking out and you're still somehow working out, then you're pushing your homework time later on at night. And so by the time you get done with everything, it's around like 1. On a good day, I would sleep at 12. And typically, gets to 1. So I don't know if I can actually do anything about that because no matter how much I love my sleep, you can't always get it and get all your work done in time as well.
Yeah, that sounds really challenging. And
Yeah.
you said 12 or 1 is a typical time that you might go to
Mhm.
bed with everything and, trying to incorporate exercise as well.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, what has helped you with achieving your goals as far as getting enough sleep? Is there anything that you can recall that has helped you with that? And how you knew that maybe 7 to 8 hours is optimal for you?
Well, I know 7 to 8 hours is optimal just because I just feel fresher that day. I can get more work done. Like weekends, I definitely work really well on weekends because even if I'm sleeping at 1, instead of waking up at 7, I'm waking up at like 8 or 9.
Okay.
So I know that I can function really well with that. But previously, in school days, if I've ever achieved that level, it's just when the semester starts and you don't have as much work, that's the only time. But once the semester picks up and there's so much work, then it just doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I tried to still do that, and I kept pushing down my thesis work, and then my thesis committee wasn't very happy with me. So, getting all your work done in time, keeping everyone feeling like you're on top of things. What do you compromise on? You compromise on yourself, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's something I think of differently or wrongly. I don't know, but I don't know how to fix it.
So I hear a lot of issue within your wanting to sleep more, but you feel like there are things that you would have to compromise that you don't want to compromise.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are very important to you,
Mm-hmm.
clearly, and things that you believe are very important in order for you to achieve what you need to achieve for school.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you want to continue addressing today, or is that something that you kind of want to discuss at a later time and progress more as far as diet is concerned?
I think that's something we can focus on later so I can have more time to think about what I could possibly do. I think maybe focusing on the diet initially would probably be more effective just because I just don't know yet what I could do to help me sleep better and longer so I have more energy throughout the day.
Okay. Well, let's continue through your diet recall since you mentioned you wanted to focus on your diet. So for lunch, you mentioned having 2 slices of whole wheat bread with boca patties. Are those vegetable veggie patties?
Yeah, they're the
Okay.
veggie patty.
Okay. And a teaspoon of ketchup and a leaf of lettuce. So that's a single sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have as far as a side with that or a beverage? Is there anything else you'll typically do?
No, I'm not a huge fan of beverages, so I just have my water bottle that I take everywhere. A side, if I have carrots, I would take that instead of chips. Just because chips, I've seen their nutrition labels pretty often, and that's just a complete waste of my calories. I'd rather eat something that fills me up. So I don't eat chips. So I typically would just eat the sandwich as it is. If I have carrots, then I might have my carrots with my sandwich instead of the snack. So.
Okay. So continuing on with that, you said you might have carrots with it, but in general, it's just usually the sandwich.
Yeah.
And then for the snack, on this particular day, you had an apple, and that's something that you would typically choose that's quick and easy for a snack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then for dinner, you mentioned having 2 cups of lettuce, 2 tablespoons of craisins, 2 tablespoons of croutons, 2 tablespoons of honey mustard, and 5 ounces of baked chicken. And then you have down here some Hershey's Kisses, about 4.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, do you mind if we talk a little bit about your overall food choices during the day? Okay. I noticed a few things. Do you typically have dairy, or is that something that you don't really eat as much of?
Oh no, I really like my dairy, but like I said, like this week it's been the yogurt and granola because that's the thing that I bought for my groceries. But if I don't have that, then I would typically have a glass of milk with either milk and cereal, or I would have milk with some kind of breakfast sandwich. So, but mostly, like as much as I love my milk, I usually am only able to consume it for breakfast and not later throughout the day because it's not on, like I can't just take it and leave, And then for dinner, like, I'm not going to have my milk with salad. So I do like it, but I only typically consume it for breakfast.
Okay. With that, do you feel that you would like to have it more throughout your day?
I could if it like pairs up nicely with some kind of snack or meal.
Okay. What is an example of something that you would like to have more dairy with? I ask because I noticed that there's not a whole lot in your meal plan or in your 24-hour recall, and just assessing whether or not that's something that you would like to increase.
I can definitely add dairy because I enjoy dairy personally, and I know that you're supposed to have 2 to 3 cups in a day.
Okay.
So, but maybe adding dairy with some kind of sandwich or some kind of crackers would work.
Okay. What about to your lunch sandwich?
I mean, I could. I just don't know how if I'm taking it to work. Like, I like cold milk, and if in a coffee mug, if I were to take some milk, then by the time I'm eating lunch at like 12 or 1, it's going to be like room temperature, and that I just do not enjoy.
And is there anything at work that you could use to refrigerate your milk?
That's actually a good point. There is a fridge on our floor, and people do put their lunches in there. I just have never done that before. But
Okay.
I could actually look into it and probably use that.
Okay. So you think you might want to look into getting a refrigerator so that maybe you could include milk in your lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about your choices of protein? I notice you have a little bit of baked chicken here for your dinner, and then your boca patties as your choices for lunch. Do you feel satisfied with that as far as your protein choices?
Well, I don't know if I need more. Maybe we can add more here and there. For my dinner, I think that my protein choice I feel satisfied. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's about 6 ounces, depending on the size that I've just cut when I'm trying to cut a chicken breast. Where would you suggest that I should add protein?
Well, I just ask in order to see if it's a concern of yours. On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about your protein intake and how much you eat?
Maybe about a 5, because I'm not really sure if it should be a concern. Like, would you feel this is deficient in protein? Because I don't have a problem adding it. I just don't know if I'm eating less of it, and I should eat more.
Okay. Well, for those that are looking to achieve weight loss and long-term weight loss, I have worked with some clients who have looked into different ways of balancing their macronutrients. Would you be interested in hearing a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so many people in the past that I've worked with have looked to maybe a higher protein, lower calorie diet in order to help them satisfy some of their weight loss goals. For example, increasing their consumption of lean protein, like you have here. You're already choosing a lean protein source with your chicken, and then also boca patties, which are a plant-based protein, which have beans and maybe some soy. Those are great protein choices. But looking into maybe some more options, maybe with your snacks. For example, there's different types of different types of snack options that are high in protein. For example, like peanut butter, if you like nut butters. Or
Doesn't that add a lot of fat to my diet as well? I mean, I like peanut butter, but I'm just always afraid, like, along with the protein, peanut butter also gives me a lot of fat, so...
Well, fat is something to consider. The good thing about sources of fat from peanut butter is it's a healthier fat source because it does add more calories, but also it's going to help with that satiety, your fullness, and it's also going to help you to maintain your energy levels so that you're less likely later on to get hungry and want to eat something that may not be in line with your weight loss goals. So, for example, if you looked into having peanut butter with maybe your apple that you're already eating for your afternoon snack, that could help you with having enough protein throughout your day and increasing that amount to help you stay satisfied and reach your weight loss goals over time with that meal plan. How does that sound?
I can definitely try apple with peanut butter. I just know on toast, I don't like peanut butter by itself, and so I always have peanut butter with jelly. You know, jelly's not the healthiest thing, but if I ever have peanut butter, I always have it with jelly, just because it's either the texture or some kind of taste in peanut butter that I don't like it by itself. I can try it with apple though, because apple has the sweet element that jelly has. So maybe an apple with peanut butter would taste good. I can definitely try it.
Okay. So you're willing to give something new a try.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else in particular that you would like to discuss as far as other options for your meals where it could help promote that weight loss goal that you have?
I think this is a pretty good goal for one time. Let's focus on the diets for now, and then we can definitely move on to other things.
Okay, so just to kind of summarize, today we discussed some of the things that you've done in the past for weight loss, some things that maybe did not give you the results that you wish to receive from your efforts, but you also want balance. You want to see how you can balance your daily obligations with school and work and all the things you have planned throughout your day, along with your efforts to continue to take care of yourself and to lose weight in a healthy way because you perceive that that is something that you want to focus more on. And so we discussed your dietary recall, and with that we looked at maybe adding or substituting carrots and hummus with one of your snacks. You said you're satisfied with your breakfast for now. And then as far as your lunch and your dinner meals, looking into adding a little bit more protein, maybe between meals or within the meals, to kind of help balance out some of those other things in your diet that you may want to decrease. Let's talk a little bit about setting a goal that we can look at for the next couple of weeks before we meet up. So what is a specific goal that we've discussed today, for example, where we talked about increasing your protein that you would like to focus on?
Well, for this week, I would definitely like to focus on choosing healthier snacks and increasing my protein, like you mentioned. For the next week, we can either talk about somehow being more consistent with physical activity and staying motivated so I keep doing it, because I have phases where I would do it every week regularly, and then like the past 2 weeks I just haven't done it. So maybe focusing on that, and then also on my chocolate cravings. I am big on chocolate, and that usually gets the best of me. So I definitely need to figure out ways to keep me away from chocolate so I don't. I mean, this is my one way of doing it, by eating like 4 small kisses so that I don't eat like a big bar or like a brownie. So I've gotten so far to just feel happy with 4, but I feel like maybe I should be doing better. So maybe we can talk about that more next time.
Okay, so you mentioned 3 goals. You're trying the peanut butter with your apple, and also your carrots and hummus for one of your snacks between meals. You also mentioned wanting to consider increasing your exercise and kind of sticking to an exercise regimen that works for you and your schedule. And lastly, your chocolate. You love chocolate. And something like chocolate is maybe what you feel is something you want to modify in order to continue making healthy choices and incorporating what you enjoy into your diet, but something that also doesn't counteract the efforts that you're making. So I guess to wrap this up, what would you like to do between now and the next time that we meet for your goals?
I will definitely I will definitely see if I can use that fridge for taking my dairy, and I will get peanut butter to eat with my apple, see how I like it. If I don't, then I might explore something else that could be healthier and see what else I can do to increase my protein intake, as you suggested.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan. It sounds like you feel confident. How confident are you? In your ability to achieve these goals between the next 2 weeks?
I think I'm probably 9 or 10. I think those are pretty easy goals to achieve.
Okay, you're very confident. So I think that's a great way to wrap this up. Do you have any more questions for me?
No, we're good for now.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, Kawal.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Can I call you Kawal?
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay, nice to meet you, Kawal. My name is Julia. I'll be the dietitian that's working with you today. So tell me what brings you in this afternoon.
I'm trying to focus on living a healthier lifestyle and losing some weight. I've always had that as a challenge, and I feel like I keep going in a cycle where I lose weight and then I gain it and then I lose it and I gain it. I'm not consistent with losing it or maintaining it. I've lost weight previously, but I think that was a very unhealthy way, and I know that that's an option and I can lose weight again that way, but the thing is I was skipping dinners, and so with weight I lost hair, I lost muscle mass because I could feel the difference in my energy levels. So I know that I don't want to lose weight again that way, but every time I try to adopt a healthy way to lose weight, I lose weight initially, but then my body develops resistance to it and it stops. And then I can't keep up with it and then I gain it back because I get really, really busy with the schedule for work and school and everything. So I need to figure out a way to somehow stay consistent and to lose weight in an effective yet healthy way so I don't lose muscle mass or hair anymore.
So you've got quite the situation. You mentioned you, in the past, have made the effort to lose weight because you said it's something that has been a challenge for you, your weight, for a considerable amount of time. And it seems as though you've kind of done the weight loss before. You've been able to achieve that goal, but not in a way that resonates with you and that makes you feel good. You said weight loss has occurred because you skipped meals and you've ended up feeling not as healthy because your energy levels are down, you're losing muscle mass. Mm-hmm. You mentioned losing hair as a result of not eating enough, and you just want to find a way that's consistent and balanced and helps you maintain what you want to achieve.
That's pretty much what it is, yeah.
Okay, so what would you like to focus on today as far as efforts that you can have in your life to help you find that balance and achieve your goal?
I guess I want to find the motivation to stick to my goal. I want to see, I want to see healthy eating habits, and I want to follow them and stay motivated to follow them for a long time so that I don't just do it for losing weight, but I'm able to maintain it and adapt that lifestyle. But I want it to, match up to what the kind of foods that I like, because I think that's going to enable me to stick to it for a longer time. I definitely also want to talk about my cravings because I absolutely love chocolate, and even if I'm trying to live like a healthy lifestyle, I feel like that chocolate acts as a weakness, and it's very hard to ignore it if it's there, and I keep thinking about it, and then I just go ahead and eat it. And then it kind of goes in a cycle and I eat more. So I think that I need to somehow figure out a way that I, avoid, and I'm able to motivate myself to stay away from things that I crave that are not good for me and live healthier so I can lose weight and stay healthy.
Wow, so you sound very determined to reach your goal of weight loss. You want it to be more about a lifestyle change than just a weight loss goal. You've also mentioned knowing that you have a weakness for chocolate and that that's something that you tend to crave. But at the same time, you want to continue to enjoy your life and enjoy the foods that you eat without feeling like it's a barrier for you to enjoy your life and to become healthier. So today, what would be ideal for you as far as achieving? What could you see in your future as something you would do to reach that goal?
I guess first I would focus on changing my eating habits slightly to make that healthier, and to stay in a calorie range. I don't have a calorie range set yet. I've had phases again where I've entered my Food into FitnessPal and then known how many calories I consumed, and I remember that it helped quite a bit to stay on track and to not just walk around and eat whatever. But it doesn't work when I get really busy. I just don't take out the time to stop after every meal and enter it into FitnessPal. So that's not something that worked for a long time, although I did see that it was effective. But I want somehow to figure out healthy eating habits and sticking to like good foods that are healthy, and then maybe after that focusing on increasing physical activity as well, so that together hand in hand they can help me lose weight and stay healthy throughout.
Okay, so you mentioned that you are interested in dietary change first.
Mm-hmm.
So you looked into utilizing MyFitnessPal, the app, previously, and you said it was helpful, but you may not have necessarily had the time to do it long term and to look at your caloric intake over time. So that's understandable. And it can be challenging to count calories, especially if it's something that you're not used to doing on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
but you also see the benefit of it. So let's talk a little bit about your 24-hour recall so we can discuss some of those current dietary habits that you have and see what ways that we can help you achieve those lifestyle changes you're interested in.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so we can start with your breakfast. It says you have a cup of yogurt and a 4th cup of granola. For a snack, you have onion and chive crackers. Are those crackers crackers you prepare, or are they packaged?
No, those are the packaged kinds that are just easy to grab and go.
Okay, about how many crackers do you have typically?
Well, one package has about 6, so
6 crackers. Okay, and I see here you have for lunch, it looks like a sandwich, 2 slices of whole wheat bread, boca patties, which I believe those are veggie patties, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, and a tablespoon of ketchup and a leaf of lettuce. Do you typically have anything else with your lunch?
No, typically it's by itself. If I do have carrots at home, then I might take that for like something crunchy instead of like chips. But most of the times it would just be alone. And very rarely, if I really feel like it, I might add chips or something to it. But I try to avoid it just because I know it's empty calories and they don't really help to fill me up. So that's not often.
Okay, so typically you just have the sandwich, but
Mm-hmm.
you try to avoid anything like chips with it,
Mm-hmm.
and instead have carrots because you don't want to have chips that are, in your opinion, empty calories with your lunch.
Mhm.
Okay, what about you have an apple for your snack in the afternoon? Do you typically have anything else with that?
No, not really, because usually I'm going from work to class, and so that's the easiest thing I can eat while I'm driving or walking to class. So I don't have the space or the time to keep eating along with that apple. So it's usually by itself.
Okay, so an apple is something very quick for you that
Mhm.
requires very little preparation and it's good for on the go.
Mhm.
And so that's your snack choice here. And then for dinner, I see you have it looks like a salad,
Mhm.
2 cups of lettuce, 2 tablespoons of craisins, 2 tablespoons of croutons, 2 tablespoons of honey mustard, baked chicken, 5 ounces, and then you have your Hershey's Kisses. I remember you mentioning that you enjoy having chocolate, and chocolate is one of those things you like to eat.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit about this this dietary recall that you shared with me. Thank you, by the way. Is this a typical day for you?
This would be a typical day, yeah. I mean, it changes every now and then just because, I'm a student and so I get groceries keeping in mind that vegetables and fruits would go bad in about a week or so. So sometimes instead of that apple, I might have a banana. Instead of the onion and chive crackers, I might have carrots and hummus. So it would be different every time. And then sometimes for the breakfast, instead of the yogurt and granola, I could have, a cup of milk with an egg sandwich or cheese and bread. So it varies in that sense, but dinner is pretty consistent with the salad or the chicken. Sometimes if I want pizza, I would bake my own. But the crust is obviously store bought. But I would just put some chicken and broccoli on the pizza. So, but usually it's either the salad or it's the pizza. But the pizza is about maybe 2 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So throughout your day, do you feel satisfied with your meals?
From breakfast to lunch, I feel pretty satisfied. Between lunch and dinner, I feel like I get really, really hungry for dinner because sometimes either the apple isn't satisfying enough, or I don't have time to eat the apple, so I just drive from work to class and I just go into class, and I don't like to eat in class just because like I feel like everybody can hear you crunch on things, and then I just don't like it. So by the time the class ends, I feel like I am starving, and that's most of the days. So as soon as I get home around 6 or 7ish, then I go straight for dinner. And after dinner, I'm pretty good, so that's typically how it is.
Okay. So I noticed that you said between lunch and dinner you're typically a little bit hungrier.
Mm-hmm.
So would you feel that that is driving your cravings for your chocolate? I see you have here that you enjoy your chocolate with your dinner, but you said you also feel like it's something that is a hindrance for you to reach your weight loss goals. Do you feel that there might be a connection?
I honestly don't feel like the hunger at that time is what drives it. I think since we were kids, we've always had a meal and then we've had dessert right after. And so after I have dinner, I just have a craving to have something sweet. On some days, I'm able to like get distracted and get busy with my work and not have any sweet, but it's just like a childhood habit that we've grown up with. And then I like chocolate so much, so then I typically would go for chocolate. I was consuming a little bit more than the much that I have written down. And I don't like Kisses as much as I like other chocolate, but I think that the Kisses are a good way of controlling portion size. You know, I read at some point that when it's harder for you to get something, like, you eat less of it. So instead of, like, opening a large wrapper of chocolate and then it's easy to break off more bars and eat all of it than it is to open each individual chocolate Kiss. And so that's why I feel like keeping that to 4 is pretty easy. But I don't think it's related much to starving before dinner. I think it's just a habit that needs to be changed because we've just grown up with that habit, and then it doesn't help that I love chocolate so much.
Okay, so you mentioned that you feel hungry between your lunch and dinner, but it's more of a tradition for your family to have a dessert, and especially chocolate, after your meal. And so you mentioned that you want to change that habit, but it's also a part of who you are and how you want to kind of continue to make those choices. So do you mind if I ask you about your choice of chocolate?
No, go ahead.
Okay. How would you feel about considering maybe a lower calorie alternative to the Hershey's Kisses that you're having?
Oh, I can definitely go with something lower calorie. Like, I don't love chocolate Kisses that much. It's not that kind of chocolate that I love so much. The only reason I was eating chocolate Kisses instead was, like I mentioned, like the size, and because you have to open individual packets, and so it's a little bit more inconvenient.
Okay. So, have you tried any other types of chocolate, like dark chocolate?
I have actually. I enjoy milk chocolate more than dark, but I still like dark chocolate. So that's not. I can do that instead. It's fine.
Okay. On a scale of maybe 1 to 10, how willing would you be to try replacing your 4 Hershey's Kisses with maybe a small serving, maybe like a few squares of dark chocolate?
I think I'd probably be at a 7.
Okay. Why not a 4?
Because I don't necessarily dislike dark chocolate, and I've heard that it's good for something. I don't remember, but I remember reading that dark chocolate has maybe antioxidants or something that helps. So I know it's a little bit healthier, so if eating chocolate that's healthy, then that would definitely make me happy. The only reason I didn't say 10 is because there are certain dark chocolates that I don't like because they're too bitter, and there's some that I can eat. So that's why it's not too low, but not too high.
Okay. So you mentioned being willing to try it and, knowing that there are some health benefits, and that's maybe a motivator for you to give it a try. But you also don't know for sure exactly what kind of dark chocolate you might like. So do you mind if I share a little bit of information about how to select dark chocolate?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So one thing that I will often tell clients, maybe if they're considering having a sweet like chocolate with their meals and maybe having a small amount is looking at the percentage of cocoa that's in chocolate. So, for example, you might look at a dark chocolate bar and it says that chocolate bar is 72% cocoa. Or you might see that it says 60% or 50%. So, what you want to look for when it comes to having a more filling, healthier option for decreasing the amount of sugar and decreasing the other added ingredients that might be in the chocolate is looking for a 70% dark chocolate or higher. So, for example, that 72% I mentioned might be considered, or you could even consider if you can handle the taste, maybe an 80% or higher. But 70% or higher is typically a good range. How do you feel about that?
Okay, that's doable. I can definitely try it. And if I like the 70% or 72, as you said, if I like that one, then maybe I can try a little bit higher and see how far I can go. Does it usually say how much percent cocoa, like right in front of on the cover or at the back of the label? Where does it say that?
Typically, it says it pretty large on the front, depending
Okay.
upon the type of chocolate or the brand you buy.
Okay.
Great. So, dark chocolate is something you might want to consider. You considered that as maybe something as a healthier option as far as chocolate choices. Just briefly, let's talk a little bit more about the rest of your diet that you have here on the recall.
Okay.
Are we going over? We are started.
No, it's just 16.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we talked about chocolate. Let's go back to a little bit more about your food choices that you have listed here in your recall. So you mentioned that you are satisfied usually with your meals, with the exception of feeling a little bit hungry between lunch and dinner. You even mentioned the word starving, that sometimes you feel like it's the point where you're very, very hungry. So let's discuss, in terms of your weight loss goal, some things that you might be able to do that you're interested in trying for achieving the amount of calories that you want, and then also maintaining a healthy, balanced meal plan that will help you. So, how willing, on a scale from 1 to 10, are you to incorporate new ideas and new foods into your diet?
Probably about a 7, because I do want to make healthy lifestyle changes where, I can live healthier, but at the same time, I guess I'm a little picky about my food, so I can't say 10, just because there's certain foods that I know I won't eat, so I'm not going to commit to eating them, because I know it's not going to happen.
Okay, so give me, for example, maybe a few foods that you haven't incorporated now, but that you would be willing to incorporate.
Maybe some vegetables. Like I don't have eggs on here, but I really like eggs. So I do eat eggs on weekends. It's just during weekdays I don't make it as much, just because I have to take out the frying pan, wash it, and do everything before I leave. But I do like eggs. I do like dairy. There's not a lot of dairy in here either. I do like dairy quite a bit. And I really like fruits, but I realized that on this particular day I only have 1 apple in there. One thing that I really did enjoy one time, and I don't know why I stopped it. I think because oranges are too expensive, but there was one week when I got oranges for groceries, and I was eating oranges for my dessert instead of chocolate, and those oranges were really sweet, and they satisfied my craving for dessert. So if I can get to some kind of fruit that helps me do that, then I think that would also help me.
Okay, so you mentioned the following foods, wanting more eggs, as long as you don't have to take the extra time to take out the pan to cook it, and finding ways to incorporate that. That's a simpler, easier way for you to save time. You also mentioned dairy, wanting to try different types of dairy, possibly. Okay, and then with fruit, you said you only had an apple on this particular day, but you really enjoyed having oranges, and it was a great alternative to the dessert that you would normally have as chocolate, and you think that it's a sweet, delicious alternative that could be healthier for you. What is an obstacle for you as far as incorporating these foods? What is something that
Dairy mostly because I only eat it for breakfast. On a weekend, I might have it as a snack, instead of an apple or something, I might have it as a snack. But when I have to leave the house, for work and then for class, by the time I get home, I'm not going to drink milk. I'm going to eat dinner. And culturally, I wouldn't drink milk with dinner. I know some people do. I wouldn't. It sounds strange to me. So that's why dairy, it's either breakfast or no dairy on a weekday. On weekends, I would have dairy any other time during the day as a snack even. For fruits, I typically like a lot of fruits. It's just, because now that I live by myself, it's just a hassle because I've had so many fruits go bad. I had bought bananas the other week, they went bad. Then I had strawberries one time. I was eating a little bit at a time, and then they started going bad. So now it's just like have one fruit at a time to focus on, and then so that nothing goes bad. I don't like throwing away food, just wasting it. Plus, like, they're expensive, so if I'm buying it, I might as well eat it. Otherwise not buy it.
Okay, so you mentioned two obstacles. You mentioned wanting to have maybe more milk for breakfast or a snack, but the obstacle with that is the limit as far as when you can have it and how you can incorporate it into your diet and into your meals.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a refrigerator at work where you could bring it along with you?
I do have a refrigerator at work. I've never used it, but I guess I could try. It shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so you might want to consider refrigerating the dairy if you have any milk that you can have with your lunch or your snack. And then with fruit, you mentioned it being hard for you to keep it long enough for you to not have to worry about it going bad.
Mm-hmm.
What about the oranges that you purchased? Did you have an issue with that as well?
No, oranges typically lasted longer. They went up to, I think, 2 weeks or maybe even 3. But I don't know why. Like, most of my oranges were pretty juicy. The last 2 were really dry. So either they had just gotten old, or I guess it might have been a coincidence. But I just didn't buy them again because the prices were pretty high, and so it came towards the end of the month after that. So I never went back to trying that, but I can do oranges again. I like oranges. I like strawberries too, but just recently the strawberries I've been buying, they've always been sour and not sweet, so that kind of deters me from buying them.
Okay, so you said oranges, the obstacle is cost, but you really enjoyed them when you had them before, and with strawberries, you enjoyed them, but they were sour when you bought them. So, for example, what are some things that you would consider when it comes to choosing fruits at the grocery store?
I think if they're seasonal, they might be cheaper.
Okay.
And then sweeter.
So
something that's cheap, something that's sweet, and at the same time it doesn't go bad as fast.
Okay.
So I have enough time to eat it throughout.
Okay. And do you prefer fresh fruit?
Yeah, for sure. I don't like canned fruit at all.
Okay. All right. So let's look into some options for you with picking fruit at the grocery store that's seasonal and low cost and will have a good shelf life in the refrigerator. So what about things like grapes? Have you tried grapes?
I like grapes. I can do grapes, yeah.
Okay. So
sometimes they just get too sweet for me. I had grapes in the middle, but I wasn't eating them as much and they went bad. I like them, it's just they don't fill you as much before they get too sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense. But
I understand.
Okay.
So what are some other alternatives to grapes that you like?
Well, again, fruit-wise, bananas, apple, oranges, strawberry if they're sweet. I like pineapples, but an entire pineapple is too much for me to eat by myself. Last time it went bad. And if I've seen cut pineapples in the store, but I feel like they've added something to them. So I'm not too sure if that's healthy anymore.
Okay. So you have a few different options that you're considering, and it just really comes down to, I guess, narrowing those down and figuring out maybe 1 or 2 that you can incorporate into your diet so that you can have enough fruit, since you are interested in adding fruit and making a more well-balanced day of meals. So let's recap a little bit about your choices as far as your meals. So you said you wanted to incorporate more eggs because you like eggs, but it might be a little bit of a challenge for you to incorporate them how you like. Maybe boiled eggs might be an option if that's something that you can do in your free time and have a few eggs boiled, and that way you can have them throughout the week and incorporate that. For dairy, you said you might want to try your bringing it to work and having it at work in your refrigerator, so it'll keep and won't get warm or go bad. And then lastly, you have a few fruit options that you're considering, and just narrowing it down and seeing how you can incorporate it throughout your day, and maybe even use some of them as a dessert in place of the chocolate. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so I think we're coming down to our last few minutes. So let's discuss your main goals for this coming week before we meet together again. So going back to what's most important to you, what is something that you would like to do in the next few weeks to help you achieve your weight loss goal?
I think definitely having healthier snacks. So trying to eliminate those crackers that are prepackaged and made, so that I can have things like, fruits that are sweet at the same time as not too high in calories. So having those as snacks, maybe changing around and having eggs somehow, dairy, either for my breakfast and lunch, and maybe substituting that chocolate for dinner with some kind of fruit so I can stop having that chocolate.
Okay, so it sounds like you've got a few different options that you're looking to considering for your goals. So just as a recap, you are looking into potentially increasing healthy snack options, so substituting things like carrots and hummus in place of the onions and chive crackers. You also want to incorporate more fruit, especially to replace the dessert, so that's a healthier source of vitamins and minerals, and also a healthier carbohydrate source to replace the chocolate, and it's lower in fat. And lastly, incorporating more dairy that goes along with some more meals that you already have, and wrapping it up so that you can have a balanced diet every day. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, cool. So I guess when we meet again in a few weeks, we can talk about some of the goals that you've set and how your progress has been coming along, and then we'll figure out where to go from there so that you can be able to reach the goals that you've set as far as your weight loss and have a healthier lifestyle.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I'll see you next time.
See ya.